Hi guys, this is your girl Wakeji Kamore and welcome to Reflections by Wakeji Kamore. Again, if you have not read this chapter for yourself, please pause this recording and read the chapter for yourself, understand what's happening in this chapter, and then you can just, come and listen to the lessons that I have picked from this chapter. So in the last chapter, we focused on a guy called Ahaziah, a guy called Ahaziah who had become king, and he only reigned for 1 year, and then he was killed. And his mother was Athaliah, so his mother went on, killed everybody else who had who could have laid a claim to the throne, and she throned herself, and she became the queen. And at this point, when you're entering this chapter 23, she has been reigning for a whole 7 years. So she has been queen for a whole 7 years, and she's not been like the best queen there can ever be. She's not been very good. At this point, there's a young boy by the name Joash who was hidden when Athaliah was in the business of killing everybody. And Joash was Ahaziah's son. And I'm imagining that this woman was willing to kill her own grandson just so that the grandson does not take claim to the throne. But he was hidden by his own auntie, and he was hidden in the temple. And the man who was a priest at that time was named Jehoiada. And for 7 years, Jehoiada is just sitting on a secret that Joash is the one supposed to be the king. He's really young, and this Athaliah queen has really become such a horrible queen. But at some point, it takes a lot of courage, and it takes a lot of summoning yourself, calling yourself to a meeting and deciding, you know what, I am going to do something about this injustice. And this is exactly what this chapter is about. It's about Jehoiada's taking courage, taking a stand, and the process that it took to dethrone Athaliah and to put Joash on the throne. My best, or rather where I pick my lesson from this chapter, is really in the first verse. It says, in the 7th year of Athaliah's reign, Jehoiada the priest decided to act. So the step number 1, decide to act. Is there any injustice that you're seeing in your life? Is there any injustice that you're seeing and you're like, you know what, I can actually do something about this? Have you decided to act, or have you decided to just do nothing about it and you're just passing there? Vitu tu zinapita, wewe unaishi tu, uko tu like whatever will be will be. You're not doing anything about it. Or have you decided to act? So in the verse it says Jehoiada the priest decided to act. And then the next thing he did, it says he summoned his courage. Let me tell you, whatever it is, the action that he did, it was almost like a coup, but it was a coup in the positive way, because someone needed to be dethroned, and she was a queen who wasn't supposed to even be queen, and the proper king needed to be throned. So it was almost like a coup, but a coup that is on the positive side. And if you're organizing a coup you're organizing to dethrone someone who was willing to kill her own grandchild just so that she can be queen, you can imagine what she would do to you. It's not a joke. So he really needed to summon his strength and his courage, because he was dealing with a very vicious queen. He was dealing with a very dangerous queen who would have easily killed him, who would have easily just say, kill this man, kill his entire family, hata huyo Joash atafutwe, auliwe. So first he needed to decide to act, and he needed to summon his courage. So, reflective question: what injustices that you're seeing in your life, or seeing near you, or seeing happening, and you're just turning a blind eye? Have you decided? Is it possible for you to decide to act? And then is it possible for you to summon your courage? And then now be strategic, because what follows after is a whole strategy of, who is going to be standing where, what are we going to do? This is what we are going to do. We are going to bring Joash. He's going to be surrounded, and we are going to make him sit on the throne, and actually just plant him on the throne and decide you are now the king, and that's it. And kill everybody else who seems to be against it. This was a whole strategy. It was a whole organized operation. It was really an organized operation, and the Levites were involved. I like the fact that the Levites were involved, because these were priests, but these were priests that had swords. These were not priests of just sitting chill and looking great. These was priests that had swords. These were priests that were willing to put their life at risk just so that they could right a wrong that had been done. That's just so that they could right an injustice that they were seeing and that was happening even at that time. So my question is, what injustice is that you can see and what injustice that you can do something about? Is it possible for you to decide to act? Will you decide to act? And will you summon your courage and then put strategies in place so that then you can abolish this injustice that you see happening? That is it for me. And I think one of the things that I find also interesting is that the things of the Lord need courage. Just because you're a believer or just because you believe in the word of God and you believe God, it does not make things easy at all. Actually, it means that you need to live a very courageous life. The things of the Lord require us to be courageous, and they require us to take a stand. They require us to decide to act and to not just, turn a blind eye on things, or, like what we say, as an ostrich, you're hiding your head in the sand. We need to take a stand, and we need to summon courages and right the wrongs that we see happening in this world, and right the injustices that we see happening in this world. Thank you so much for listening, and see you tomorrow.